Greetings. I am the creator of Living God of War. Driftly depends on whatever I could actually do. The reactions because of family. Some might be not as early per se. You will be hearing me, and as a quote unquote imitation of someone if you have seen on Twitter. Athena, Greek goddess of war, strategy. I'll do my best to imitate, but she might not appear if I don't even figure that out. I'll try to do both Zlatan and Athena. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. All music is owned. Screw you. All music is owned by the respective owners.
Kratos versus Asura. The ghost of Sparta versus the wrathful destructor. Because sometimes you just want to punch a god in the face. He's Wiz, I'm Boomstick. And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who will win a death battle.
Yeah, I think I got it.
The Primordials waged war across existence. A series of cosmic clashes that birthed the universe. Boom! Now that's what I call a big bang! From Ceto's death, the oceans would flow. From Uranus' strikes, the stars were spawned, and so forth. Thus, the world itself was born from violence. Starting the whole messy cycle, Uranus was overthrown by his titan son, Kratos, who was overthrown by his Olympian son, Zeus, who battled his own son, Kratos. As a classic bastard child of Zeus, Kratos was left among Spartan mortals, far exceeding all among them. He became a fierce warrior, winning many a battle, until finally cornered by ruthless barbarians. Ares, destroy these guys who are kicking my ass, and my life is yours. A deal was made, and Kratos was joined at the bone with the Blades of Chaos, a set of chain swords and basically a badass whirlwind of flame and steel. But Ares had a scheme. While doing work for his god, Kratos accidentally murdered his own family, permanently marked by the ashes of his wife and daughter.
The dreams of Kratos do look great.
The ghost of Sparta. So he was kind of understandably really pissed off. Time for a new god of war.
So pretty much you can swing them around. I'm not going to cause flame destruction, only the bloodshed.
And got some new gear out of it too. With Poseidon's
Kratos can have
Icarus's wings, Kratos dominated both sea and sky. He also has a tendency to carry powerful severed heads, like Medusa's. And the claws of Hades could steal souls, even the soul of Hades himself. Should have thought that one through, man. Neither Perseus or Hercules were a match for Kratos, nor was Helios, the sun god capable of moving stars and spreading light across the entire underworld. He fought Atlas, the titan of strength, who broke the load-bearing pillar of the universe.
By the power of the sun.
Kratos forced him to hold up the cosmos on his own instead. And he could do it with just one hand.
Still trying to bit radioactive from that.
Pappy Kronos failed to stop him. You know, the guy who overthrew the primordial that punched the universe into existence? Causing shockwaves that moved over a quadrillion times faster than light. A frankly incomprehensible feat. Then there's Daddy Zeus, who proved a serious challenge. Until Kratos drew perhaps his ultimate weapon, the Blade of Olympus.
That might cause you some problems for your shield.
It can stab the hell out of you. It siphons godly energy and can pull enough to even kill Zeus. Like father, like son. Even while Kratos ultimately released
shield only
across
blocks
the Greek world,
physical attacks.
only do so
Anything
after
that bypasses
annihilating
defense
everything. Like a badass, he was unstoppable. Non-stop killing and sex and even more killing. And yet, he couldn't be any more depressed. His wife and daughter were still gone. What was he to do?
He didn't know. He wandered aimlessly for years, somehow stumbling into Norse mythology where he met Faye, his second wife. Good start, buddy.
Kratos had a new lease on life, but he could not escape his past mistakes.
There's a reason he hid his swords in a dingy basement. Even so, Faye insisted he could do better. So he became a dad to a new boy.
Easily the toughest task he ever undertook, especially after Faye unfortunately died of a mysterious illness.
Damn it, not again! But hey, it wasn't Kratos' fault this time, and Faye left the tools he'd need to keep the boy safe, including the Leviathan Axe.
Far from the whirling rage of the Blades of Chaos, the Leviathan Axe was
Your
deliberate
weapons
and mighty, said to
kinda
rival
have same
Mjolnir
features.
itself.
Thor wishes Mjolnir was as cool as this axe. It's imbued with ice magic and a poison
Essentially,
even
it's
the
the
gods
way
fear. It can be
D&D
summoned
has
to
their
Kratos' hand
emblazoned
from a
weapons.
distance, and
You
it
hold
even
it up and
shatters
it
souls.
immediately
Kratos may
summons
have
your
once been a
arm.
sword of vengeance, but with his new weapons and a new
Not
purpose, he
teleportation,
stood as a
just straight
shield
summoning.
against the godly Asir.
Too bad he just can't help but get in trouble with gods.
Ugh.
But now he knew how to control his anger.
Which is even more important than it sounds. Kratos' Spartan rage summons an inner strength with magical properties.
He can even
Just
get
a
so
little
pissed
berserker.
off that he straight up heals himself. That seems like the opposite of what
You
should
have
happen.
Not all anger
regeneration
is
for that.
problematic, and Kratos wields plenty of new weapons and relics to channel his rage through.
Like the Dropnir Ring, which can summon a bunch of wind spears. They can absorb all types of energy and blast it back.
Your
He
Wrath
even
of the
has
Elements
relics and
phase for
magic
that?
that can warp space and slow down time.
Naturally, he contested with the strongest of the Norse gods, including the god of thunder, Thor, who was powerful enough to fight the fire giant Surtur and the world serpent Jormungandr at the same time.
Oh, and that fire giant would be the cause of actual Ragnarok. You can't defeat me, Thor. I know, but he can.
Well, not exactly. Freyr, the rain god, held off Ragnarok for a considerable time all on his own, and the sheer power of Ragnarok shook Yggdrasil down to its very roots.
That's the World Tree, which is like a literal tree that connects the whole universe.
According to Freya, the tree's very existence supports all of creation among its boughs. Every strand transcending time, transcending space. Everything comes back to the tree.
So it's kind of like Kratos lives in a really, really, really big treehouse.
In his quest to free the Norse world, Kratos
Lol.
reclaimed old weapons by reckoning with his past sins, even taking up the Blade of Olympus once again.
Even better, he actually got to be a decent dad. And now the boy is a man and also a bear.
Kratos made a lifetime of mistakes, but this future would be different. He'd be more than he was in the past, not just a god of war, but a leader, a father, and a defender, a god of hope.
This battle is sponsored by Robin Hood Gold.
With Robin Hood Gold, you can now
So
enjoy
that's
VIP
pretty
treatment,
much
receiving 3%
kind of
IRA match on
like
retirement
you,
contributions.
The
inspiring
privileges of the very
others to
privileged are no
follow
longer exclusive.
alongside
With Robin
you
Hood Gold, your annual IRA
with
contributions are
your
boosted by 3%.
clones
Plus, you
and
also get 4% APY for cash
army.
in non-retirement accounts. That's over 8 times the national savings average. The perks of the high net worth are now available for any network.
The new gold standard is here
However,
with Robin Hood Gold. To receive your 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at robinhood.com/gold.
You gotta
That's the most
remember,
risk.
you
Rates subject to
are
change.
still
3% match
human.
for Robin Hood Gold at $5 a month for 1 year for first match and must keep funds
You're
in IRA for 5
devi-
years. Go to
you're-
robinhood.com/boost. Over 8 times national average savings account. Interest rate claims based on data from the FDIC as of February 18,
You
2024.
had-
Robin Hood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robin Hood Gold LLC. Long ago, a demigod fell
The
from the
dash stand
heavens,
for his
only to
opponent.
rise from the depths of Naraka after 12,000 years.
After 12,000 years, he's free to punch everything dumb enough to get in his way. He was the demigod of wrath, Asura.
Alongside 7 other demigod
After your
generals,
nuclear
Asura served
launch,
as defender of humanity against the
your
impure
shield
Goma,
becomes
dark spirit monsters
unbreakable.
infesting the world.
And the demigods battled the Goma by wielding a mystic energy formed from human prayer, mantra.
By advancing technology with mantra, the Guardian Generals became essentially hyper-powerful mystic cyborgs. They could each harness mantra through a different emotional affinity. For August, it was greed. For Yasha, it was melancholy.
I'll give you one chance to guess what Asura's is.
By tapping into his wrath, Asura can take many forms for battle, like the 6-armed Vajra, a state powerful enough to subdue the embodiment of the planet's will and the source of the Goma.
My motto did
Vlitra.
say
But he wasn't angry
Final
enough to put
armor
Goma Vlitra down for
can
good.
tank
At least not
hits
yet.
from
Of course,
multiversal
since he's
beings.
literally powered by wrath, no enemy of Asura's would be stupid enough to do
However,
something that
I
would
didn't
make
have
him
to
even
have
more
any
mad, right?
fights that
right?
Funny
me
you should
into
say
it.
that.
God damn it.
Yeah.
First off, Asura is not some one-dimensional anger machine.
Still remember
Admit,
that
the
fight
Asuras
with
were
Tears and
powerful and
Dunes?
aggressive beings, sure,
Yeah.
but not inherently evil. Just like Asura himself. He's a warrior, but also a husband with a daughter,
Well,
Mithra,
And Mithra has the unique power to
Sugar.
supercharge mantra energy.
which gave Asura's prideful commander, Deus, an idea. If he could weaponize Mithra, literally wiring her up to a super weapon, the Guardian Generals could maybe finally end Goma Vlitra for good.
Well, obviously, Asura wasn't gonna go along with that. So Deus framed Asura for killing the Emperor, murdered his wife, kidnapped Mithra, and then just straight up killed him. What a dick.
But true to his nature, Asura was literally too angry to die. So long as a single part of his body remains and can
That actually
possess
sounds
mantra,
a little
he
bit
can
like
climb back
he's,
out of Naraka, a sort of limbo underworld between life and death. Thanks to some coaxing from a strange golden spider, he did just that, with an all-new
I hate
purpose
spiders.
in mind.
Make the gods pay! Oh yeah, they're calling themselves gods now. Turns out they're all assholes who started sacrificing thousands of innocent people to try to power up. So Asura got really pissed off.
And through his rage, Asura's power
Sounds right.
exploded, rising enough to throw giants like ragdolls, shatter whole moons, and destroy a fellow deity, Wyzen.
Who could dwarf the planet and wreck it with just a finger. Look at this.
Asura is so powerful, his soul cannot be manipulated by the Goma or the deities. He can propel himself with mantra to fly, harden his fists to break steel, fire
Hades
explosive energy
kinda
blasts.
has
And headbutt you so hard you
little
wish you
bit
could
of
die even faster.
for
The
yourself.
dude literally stockpiles
Not
anger
much,
into a
though.
burst of energy that can one-shot even the toughest of foes. And when he goes unlimited mode, he can rapid-fire
But you
those super
and the
attacks
Abby
without
fight in
overheating.
your spirit
Asura's vengeance
forms.
quest wasn't all shouting and explosions, though. I mean, it was a lot of that, but he also tried to protect people from the gods, including a girl who very much reminded him of his own daughter.
Yeah, Asura's the kind of guy who wants to be a great dad, but all he knows how to do is punch anything that upsets his kid. Like that one dad that knocks out a ref at a Little League game.
And then the gods killed that girl too, along with her whole village, sparking Asura to unleash his berserker aura.
You know how the gods were sacrificing thousands of people to power up? Well,
And these
Asura
gods
got
sound like
so
dicks.
freaking angry, he built up enough mantra to match them, even though they've been building up energy for thousands of years. Seriously, guys, you're pissing off the guy who literally gets more powerful the angrier he gets. What did you think was gonna happen?
Yet even in
Oh,
berserker mode,
smash.
Asura never lost total control.
Berserker Asura adds even more extra arms, and they're big and glowy now. The man can launch so much angry mantra, he wiped out the god's whole space fleet in seconds.
Asura's anger raised to levels so high even he couldn't contain it, scorching him into his wrath form.
Even though it hurts Asura while he's in it, this form is still perfect for absolutely shit-stomping a snobby demigod's face in. It's okay, though. His brother-in-law punched the edge out of him.
Yasha saw the error of the deity's senseless sacrifices and teamed up with Asura for a coup against Deus.
Awesome, they're bros again. Just in time for Asura to hit his former boss with so much mantra that he burst. Then dive into the planet's core to obtain power equal to 1,000 arms. His mantra form.
Wow.
Finally, a power capable of
Damn.
killing Vlitra in a
Beautiful.
big planet-busting blast.
Deus was defeated and Gaia was saved. Yet, Asura's wrath
How many
hadn't
arms do you
been quelled.
have?
Title drop.
It turns out that spider
Well,
that guided him was
well,
actually
well,
Chakra
well,
Vartan,
well,
the creator
well.
of Mantra and the
After
entire
all, I am
universe.
the one
And
who
everyone's suffering was part of his plan to make Asura his heir.
weapons.
Chakra kidnapped
Well,
Mithra
man,
because of
killing
course he did,
weapons.
and tested Asura in the form of a massive golden Buddha statue. Check out the size of it. That thing can literally hold a galaxy in its palm. Naturally, Asura and the statue threw hands.
Enter the Mantra Reactor. Capable of holding 7 trillion souls, Asura instead used it as a vessel for a far greater power.
His own unfiltered rage. At last, Asura could show
So
the
let's
world
put
his
time
real
events.
colors.
Everyone from the
defeating your
humans to the
bosses.
7
Well,
deities to
defeating your
Chakra
bosses.
Vartan saw Asura's
But
anger
you still
as a
gotta
weapon,
fight them.
a sword for
I mean,
tyranny.
slowing
When that
that
was
down.
never who he was.
Slowing
His
the
rage
health
was
down.
really a shield to protect humanity, and most of all, his daughter.
A shield larger than a planet. Unbound by his past limits, Asura's ultimate destructor form effortlessly punched through asteroids larger than nebulas, dodged planet-sized lasers moving 2 quadrillion times faster than light, and obliterated whole stars.
Chakravartin was understandably impressed and offered Asura a chance to take his place. Asura smiled at the offer and extended his arm.
Right into Chakra's face, as if he was gonna let some god trample over more worlds. Instead, he literally beat the QTEs out of God, obliterating him and his plans in a cosmic explosion.
But with Chakravartin dead, so was the concept of mantra itself. Those who depended on it could not survive, including Asura.
Hey, as long as Mithra was fine, it was worth it. Besides, he'll reincarnate millions of years later, still kicking ass, ready to smack a random thug, a meteor, or Ryu. Right in the balls.
It's interesting. Despite the dangers of uncontrolled anger, Asura's wrath gave him the power to save everything. All because of just one thing.
Some bastard made his daughter cry, so they had to pay. Now that's a god I can get behind. This battle is sponsored by Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of bucks in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to everyone. It's simple. All you have to do is pick 4 or less on these 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. And when you want to find non-standard options that are hard or easier to win, just look for the little goblins, not those little guys. The big game is almost here, so don't miss out on the last football game of the season. Prize Picks. Prize Picks is even giving away a free pick for the game. Win, one of the starting quarterbacks only needs to throw 1 yard. But what if they don't? Sorry? What if they only threw it half a yard? Then they wouldn't be in the big game. Oh yeah, good point. I'm in. Download the app today and use code DEATH to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Yep, if you download the app and use code DEATH, you'll get $50 after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a dad battle!
Here we go. Let's see how this goes. I'll be quiet throughout the fight.
It's true then. The god of war is on Gaia. But not for long. You do not want this fight.
Oh, there goes that temple. Oh.
You let your wrath consume you. I have been down that road before. Shut up! Very well.
I believe that was my spear. I don't know, I haven't played God of War series, so I don't really know.
Death has not earned me yet, Titan! But you deserve a worthy end!
That would be the blade of Olympus. I'm curious how it will interact with your zenith.
You are a monster no longer. I never was.
Why would he leave the sword in his body? Or take it back with him when it mattered.
KO! Well, I guess Asura's wrath really is gone. But are we sure this is how it'd go? Even though Asura can blow up stars?
Asura had some amazing displays of apocalyptic destruction, but the full scope of their speed, experience, versatility, and power sheds a surprising light.
At first glance, speed seems like a shoo-in for Asura. Kratos is quick, but he never dodged a universe-crossing laser.
That doesn't mean he couldn't. Remember, as usual, we look at these characters at their peak, free from gameplay restrictions.
Yeah, we're looking at everything in canon, and Kratos fought and killed Helios, the sun god.
From the moment he's
And
introduced,
Reddit
Helios
was
is
pissed at that.
emphasized to be immensely powerful. Without Helios, darkness would shroud everything. His light was fast enough to illuminate the entire underworld while Kratos sailed through it, taking a few hours at most.
So, kinda hard to quantify, but that's consistent with the shockwaves the primordials caused that spawned the universe.
Arguments can be made for which is faster, the primordial shockwaves or Chakravartin's intergalactic lasers. Since it's so close, it's safest to assume their speeds are generally even.
But what does speed matter if you don't know how to use it?
I have
Let's
not been
cover
paying attention to
experience.
Black Boxes, to
Asura
be
lived
honest.
across centuries, obviously a lot longer than Kratos.
And while Kratos eventually learned to control his rage, Asura pretty much always had that control.
So Asura easily takes experience. But when it comes to versatility, he couldn't match all the weapons and abilities Kratos had.
Sure, Asura's quite skilled and a monster at martial arts, but his fighting style mostly relies on one thing.
A whole lot of punching.
Kratos' weapons, magic, runes, relics, and even his rage gave him far more options in combat, slowing down time, healing injuries, and most importantly, multiple weapons that could drain a
So my time's
variety of energies,
so my time's
like
up
mantra.
can quit on
Yeah,
him?
when Asura loses all his mantra
Definitely.
energy, that's it for him. So the Dropnir spears and the Blade of Olympus gave Kratos exactly what he needed. Versatility. And multiple ways to finish this for good before Asura just comes crawling back out of the underworld.
If he could, Asura's resurrections take years or whole centuries, days at best.
But all this assumes Kratos could match Asura's crazy strength. All roads lead to power, which should go to Asura, right? Look at what he can do. If this came down to who made the bigger kaboom, he'd kick Kratos' ass in 2 seconds.
But a closer examination of their feats reveals the truth.
At his peak, Asura overpowered Chakravartin, annihilating that cosmic golden god.
By measuring the dimensions of Chakravartin's body and scaling it up to match the size of this galaxy-eclipsing statue, we can determine its volume. Add in the density of gold, for good measure assuming the form is solid throughout, and its mass far exceeds not just our galaxy, but our entire observable universe.
Destroying that big golden god would need
Wow.
energy on par with obliterating our universe 91,000 times.
Extremely impressive and unfathomable. However, the same idea applies to Ragnarok shaking the roots of Yggdrasil.
Ragnarok is obviously a bit of a different beast than Kratos, but what really matters is what Freyr did.
Right, Freyr, a god comparable to Kratos, held back Ragnarok's power for a significant time.
So Kratos should be capable of the same level of power, or even more.
Using an official map and knowing the world tree's branches encompass all of existence, we can measure its size and volume.
And we know this map is accurate because it shows these two realms conjoined, which we see in-game.
Even if we assume the Tree of the Realms is only 1% solid, a significant lowball that Kratos should easily scale above, shaking such an incomprehensibly large structure would require enough force to destroy our universe's mass energy 9 million
I have a
times
few
over.
That's
DVDs
almost
in the North
100
Pantheon.
times greater than Chakravartin's destruction. And this isn't some one-off outlier. I mean, a realm-shattering supergiant doesn't sound too different from the other Titans and Olympians Kratos defeated.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's easy to think that we never see Kratos do anything that matches Asura, but we do. Helios' speed matches Chakravartin, and Kratos outsped him. Atlas is strong enough to lift all of reality, and Kratos overpowered him. Kronos defeated the creator of the universe in a one-on-one fight, same as Asura, and Kratos killed Kronos. Add in the clear numerical comparison of Chakravartin, Ragnarok, and Yggdrasil, and Kratos takes the edge in power.
But hey, Capcom, if you give us Asura's Wrath 2, we'll try this again.
That'd be pretty awesome.
Asura's The Sun Rises. The god of wrath was Kratos.
The winner is Kratos.
But what if?
Oh, now it's an ending? Oh, yeah, we're not here for Bowser versus Edmund. They were finally back together. You're watching a scenario, right? Yes.
And that concludes my pitch for Asura's Wrath 2. The end. Next time on Death Battle.
I would not be voting for you. I would not be voting you for the song.
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.